Statistics, Unit 3, FRQ, Form 2. Answers. Let's go ahead and go to the rubric. So on the first question, it was asking about if it's an observational study or an experiment. It looks like we've got people that were fear of heights, and so we're going to see what we had in these different therapy sessions. Okay, so the first one, to get a point, they would definitely have to say it's an experiment and definitely say that there's a treatment and then name the treatment. So each one of those would be a point. And then the second question asks, when the data was analyzed, was improvement based on, can I say that there was improvement based on what the placebo group did, and can they justify this for the 8 therapy sessions? And the answer is no, because in the therapy sessions, the way they did it was different than the way that it was done in the question for B, because the therapy sessions of 2 were measured in experiment, and no other conclusions of therapy sessions or any length of time can be concluded about. So you only can conclude about what you tested. I can't conclude about anything else, so that's why it's no. And then the last one asks what happens with randomization, and randomization reduces the effects. If they said eliminates, you need to take off half a point for eliminate, because we can't really ever eliminate bias, but we can reduce it. And then continue to explain that this method of choosing people could leave. You need to talk about the overrepresentation of those who choose to take the drug. Or you could say underrepresentation, as long as you gave me another reason why. And the reason I'm saying overrepresentation, because if I think it may work just because I think it does. I may alter my behavior, my attitude towards my fear, and then potentially it could work. So again, it could be underrepresentation. They could say that. They just would have to come up with another reasonable reason. They could say overrepresentation with a different reason. So it doesn't matter as long as they connect the reducing bias to the overrepresentation to the reason and why that is. Okay, let's flip to number 2. Number 2, first of all, it says if it's just doing this survey here and it's the state one potential source of bias and describe how it might affect the estimate of proportion of adult heads of households who do not have a high school diploma. This is an example of undercoverage, because it's undercoverage with people without phones, because they're doing a telephone interview. And you could say maybe, and you could choose anything you want at this point. This is kind of, dealer's choice. So you can say people without a high school diploma get paid less than with a diploma. Typically, that's a true statement. Not always, of course, because there's, lots of people that have not have high school diplomas and they're millionaires, but this is a typical average. So then I'm just saying they might not be able to afford a phone, and therefore that would be an underestimation of the amount that people do not have a diploma. Again, any choice that they wanted to do of the reason why, and then a connection here, and then this is an underestimation or an overestimation, whichever one you decide to do. Okay, and then for B, this said that it's asking, since education is a larger responsibility of each state, the agency wants to estimate the availability that the state is for the nation, identify a sampling method that will achieve this additional goal, and briefly a way to survey the sample. So the key is here, I want it for each state. So I'm gonna have to stratify, because in order for me to stratify, I know I absolutely 100% need each state to be in a group. So that's why strata is necessary in this case. Then you describe how you do it, take an SRS of each one and each heads of each households. I'm looking through it. If you did systematic and you did by state, that means you would like get a state, miss a state, get a state, whatever. So that really wouldn't work. I mean, there may be a way that you could show me systematic, as long as, this is the thing, as long as every state is represented equally, then it works. Now, for me, I think that strata really is the only way that's going to work. If I'm missing something, you are welcome to tell me. Now, if they said blocking is only for experiments, so we're going to count that wrong for blocking for the first one, but then we'll give them the other ones right as long as they had these 3. And then if they said census, we're going to take off half credit. This is worth 4 points. We're going to take off 2 points for census because, yes, you could do it, but it is extremely impractical, and that's why we only do it once every 10 years. And then SRS is not a good one because not every single one is guaranteed for to be in this one, so SRS would not be a good one. And so if there's any other questions on there, again, any sampling method that includes every single state equally, which stratified is the one that does it. So, okay, this one here, I made them worth half a point because I was trying to make sure I equalized it with other classes as far as the points, because it gave it quite a few points for this last one, because it wants you to design an experiment for this one. But the key is here, it says, I wanted to see if education had an effect on person that could spell without writing a word down if they had more education. So specifically, it's asking me to do a block design because it's wanting me to connect with all contacted people that agreed in the experiments. So I'm starting with all these people, right? And then I'm wanting to block on high school and no high school. So if they drew it, that would be fine. I would say, I would just do this. I would do the volunteers, and I'd say block, and I would say group 1, group 2, and group 1 is high school diploma, and then no high school diploma. So that would be these. So far, I have those 2 points for this. And then I would randomly assign no high school. So randomly assign, and I put the point here. If they randomly assigned the high school diploma to 2 fairly equal groups, so this would be treatment 1, treatment 2, and this would be random assignment. So that would be half a point, and then this is half a point, random assignment, treatment 1, treatment 2. And then we talked about treatment 1 and treatment 2, so that would be this point here, random assignment, treatment 1, treatment 2. And then this one, give group 1 and 3, or whatever, group 1 and 3. I'm saying this is group 1. You know, group 1 essentially. Well, group 1, I'm calling this really group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4 is what I'm calling them. But because I guess I should have showed you that I'm splitting them in half, right? To do that, which I should have shown that there. So half here and half here. I didn't really show it in my diagram, but I did in my writing. And so group 1 and 3 would be getting the spelling test. So this is the spelling oral. And this is the spelling oral. And then this is the written. And this is the written. And then we're going to compare our results. Okay. If you have trouble with grading this one, again, just, each one, be careful. I've got half a point, half a point. This is a whole point, half a point, half a point, half a point, half a point, so that we could just bring it down a little bit because it was worth a little bit too much. All right, and that's it. Please add the total. Please get the percentage, and then the other person needs to grade it, and you need every single one to match. So if I got, let's say, 18 out of 23, and my partner got 18 out of 23, but my partner marked this one right, and I marked that one wrong, please reconcile that and get the same one, the same answer for both. Okay, I hope that helps, and have a great day.